Well, hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Logan with West Desert Shooter. Welcome back out to the range. Today we've got a pretty simple video we're going to record. Basically, I just need to collect some velocities from my AR-15 and my 6.5 Creedmoor here. Both of them are my Uintah Precision rifles, and this is also a follow-up to the Alpha brass that we loaded up and prepped in the last video that I posted. I think it's been like 2 months now, so it's been a little bit, but good to be back out on the range. The reason we haven't seen a ton of shooting content lately is simply because it's been crazy hot, and then it went full rain, and now it's finally nice and cool on the range. So I think I'm out here, I think it's like 11 o'clock, it's like 55 degrees. It is perfect for shooting, and not much wind, so let's get to it, send a few rounds down range. Arcon optics up top, proof research barrel, Uintah Precision matching upper and lower, their complete rifle with their trigger. So this is the ADG brass that I had previously had a load for. My ADG brass I've shot a ton of rounds through, and it's time for new brass. So I'm just kind of finishing up the stuff I had loaded, using them for sighters. So let's see what we can get done here. And then we're gonna check velocities after I shoot one group without the magneto on there, and then I'm gonna shoot one group with the magneto and see what the difference is. I really like these Arcon optics reticles. Their floating dot makes target shooting so easy. You don't lose where the crosshairs are or anything. You just point the dot right in the middle of the crosshair and let her rip. Sweet, there we are. Should have it nice and zeroed. So let's go ahead and load up some of this Alpha brass. So Alpha Munitions is actually out of Salt Lake, which is where I'm from, so it's pretty cool to help support the local guys. Yeah, this is my first rounds with the Alpha, so let's see how they do. Just want to take a look at the primer there. Oh yeah, no problem. Looking good. I think this is 40.2 grains of 4350. Yep, let's go take a look at the target here, guys. So we're up here at the target. Quick shameless plug. You guys can go pick up a West Desert Shooter hoodie if that's something you're interested in. Finally starting to cool off where I'm at, so I'm definitely rocking one today. So here's the ADG group. Got two touching and then one just outside. That's probably around a ½ inch group. And then I adjusted down and left, and then I shot it with the Alpha, and it hit way down here. So I don't know exactly what's going on there. But that's probably 0.6, 0.7 group, not bad. First group out here with the Alpha brass. So we're gonna throw the magneto on there and then shoot another one. I was gonna put my Magnetospeed on my can here, and I kind of realized I don't think I've ever really shown you guys how I install this thing. So luckily with my setup, I always run the magneto off my can, so I know the distance between the outside of the can to the middle of the can so that I don't get any strikes on my bayonet here. So basically the way this thing works, let's see, they give you all these different spacer kits, right? So you can actually make your Magnetospeed sit closer or farther from the center line of a barrel or suppressor. Because the suppressor is really fat, I use very thin spacers on this. Obviously with a thinner barrel, you're gonna start stacking up a bunch of spacers to push this down. So luckily with the can, it makes it consistent every time I put it on and off. So I already know what spacers I need, but I always give it a check just to make sure. And then they've got the strap on here, little rubber shield to protect the strap from heat, although I've run it without the rubber shield a lot and I've never seen any issues. And then I always back off the wing nut a ways before I cinch up the strap. And like, it's never as tight as you want it to be. So there we go, got that snugged up. Magnetospeed V3, and then run that strap up and over. It does have a little spot for you to slip it down through there, just kind of keep it out of your way. And then you tighten up your wing nut. Now I go nice and tight on this, and I also wiggle it as I go. That way, if it's sitting on there crooked, it doesn't kind of let go later. And you don't need to kill it by any means, like just get it snug, but you don't get a lot of feel with how tight it is with this. It's pretty easy to just keep going tighter with this. And then they give you this little metal rod, and you want to have a gap between the center line of your suppressor here and the bayonet. Now this is a 338 bore on my can, so I know that my bullet is not going to go all the way to the edge because I'm shooting a 6.5 through it, so I do have a little bit of wiggle room there. So this should put the bullet nice and close right across the bayonet and not strike it. And it's worked plenty of times in the past for me, so I'm pretty confident we're going to have good luck today. Although anything can happen, so we'll grab our little, I guess like auxiliary extension is basically what this is, and then we can hook it up to our main unit. This thing has an SD card in here, and then it runs on CR123s or AA's or 9 volts. So you can run this on 9 volts or CR123s, which is kind of cool. The V3 can, and they also mentioned that the CR123s provide a more consistent voltage through a wider temperature range. So if you guys are shooting in extreme cold or extreme heat, CR123s are the way to go. I just happened to have some when my 9 volts died. I usually run CR123s in my lights on my firearms, and I always keep some extra batteries in my backpack there. So that's kind of how I ended up with them in here. So pretty cool. Let's go put this thing back on the rifle and see how she shoots. Well, if I wasn't such a jackass and I just read my reticle, it would have told me what I needed to adjust, and I accidentally added an extra mil in there, which is why this second group with the alpha brass hit so low, is because I was only supposed to dial 0.7 and I went all the way to 1.7 for some reason. So I brought it back up a mil. Now we should be right on target. Although with the magneto, now it might start messing with us again. We'll see where it puts us. So 5 shots, alpha brass, H40 350, and what bullets are we shooting here? Should be the 140 grain Barnes match burners, I believe. I got about like 600 of those for a pretty sweet deal. All right, here we go. Should we do the side float thumb or no? I need to make sure I'm level. Yeah, we'll side float the thumb, why not? Put a little water in that suppressor, it sounds good. So first shot, 26, 27. $26.53. So I cooled off my suppressor with water before this string, so I wonder if that's what that slow first shot was for. Although everything's speeding up as we go. This is interesting. Velocities are not looking the greatest here, guys. Although that group doesn't look too bad. Yeah, so let's see what our velocities ended up like. I wonder if there's like one shot that threw us off. So 26-27 was our first shot, then a 53-74, 51-44. So the low of 26-27 and the max of 26-74 are kind of the outliers. And then we got 53, a 51, and a 44. Not the greatest. SD 16.9, obviously with changing the load and whatnot, but yeah, average 26.49. That's not going that fast, so I could probably bump this up and start playing with some powder chargers and try and tune that out of this. I don't think the gun's real happy with where we're at right now. But I started getting a little bit of mirage off my can, because when I put the magneto on there, I actually remove my suppressor cover. And if I don't have the magneto on there, I run the suppressor cover to eliminate mirage. So I need to cool this thing back down. We'll go down and take a look at this target. So if Ryan Hay happens to be watching this, something I'd love to see on a Magnetospeed V4 would be like a Bluetooth function where I can export it directly to my phone and be able to put it in my phone and name the group, as well as some load data. That would be super handy, because as I go through my magneto here and I'm just scrolling through velocities, it's just numbers. And I have so many different guns and whatnot that I don't know what the hell those numbers were from, so I have to go back and re-watch my own videos. Luckily, I have videos to go back and watch, but other people would have to keep really good notes. So that would be really cool, be able to just Bluetooth it right to your phone. You guys will have to let me know what you think there, if that sounds like a good idea on the magneto. Some more thoughts on my walk back to the target. the reason I shoot with a Magnetospeed is because I've used the LabRadar and I've used optical chronographs. Opticals are basically garbage to me because if the sun is out, they don't work. So, you know, how often does the sun shine where I'm at? And then the LabRadar they work well, they're very accurate, and they give you multiple readings. I've never had a need for multiple readings. I just want to know my muzzle velocity. But the interesting part about those, you really have to aim them well, and they shut down. You have to arm them to make sure it's like ready for a bullet to fly. It's kind of annoying. I like the Magnetospeed. It just sits there, it's ready. The downside is it's attached to your gun, but you can also shoot a separate group with it not attached to your gun. So there you go. All right, guys, recap. First 3-shot group. Followed that up with a 3-shot group when I adjusted too far down. So I took the stupid adjustment out and brought us back up to here. So 5-shot group, that actually looks really good. You got 4 shots almost touching each other, and then 1/5 up here. I mean, the size of my thumb there, you're probably 0.6 inches at the worst, so not too bad. Well, guys, thanks for coming out to the range with me. I'm going to jump down on my AR-15. I don't know if I really care to make a video on that one, but I appreciate you guys watching. Again, pick up some West Desert Shooter merch down below. Arcan Optics affiliate link. Those things are killer optics for the price. Uintah Precision, those guys are my buddies going way back. They've supported me for a long time, so if you're interested, ask me any question you want, and I'm more than happy to help. Till next time, guys, we will see you in the next one.